Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say hello and going to spend a little bit of time here going through some slides. Apologize if my voice seems a little crackly. I have a little bit of a head cold going on. But anyway, I'm going to start sharing my screen. I'm going to turn my video off and give you some screen sharing, which is right here. I want to talk a little bit about a quick review in terms of sort of where we've been, offer a few suggestions as we move forward, and then look ahead a little bit. And I apologize again, I'll be drinking some water a little bit throughout the presentation as my throat is a little bit scratchy today. Many of you wrote about in the previous discussion of the quality of teachers, teacher training, and talked about the Common Core and standardized testing. I wanted to show you a few results that came in from the survey I asked you to do. So it looks like primarily most people were almost split in half that the Common Core is an effective educational model to guide teaching and learning, which I thought was really interesting. I've never had a class that's been split before. So it looks, and there's a few strongly agrees and a few strongly disagrees, but in fact, it looks like we're split just about in half. Most of you agree that standardized tests are an ineffective means to measure learning. I think many of you talked about this in the discussion postings and so forth, and some of you are doing your current issue, future trends assignment on this very topic. So I appreciate that. The question about the Colorado teacher that did the right thing in refusing to test, majority of the class agreed with that, but there was some pretty good sample that disagreed with that. Questions 4 and 5. Primarily, the high stakes testing has contributed to the achievement gap. So most of the class, it looks like almost 3/4 of us agree with that. And then the standardized testing, more than half disagree that it's an effective means to measure learning. So I just wanted to share that. Like I said earlier here in this presentation, I just want to do a quick review of sort of where we've gone and where we're going to be headed. So wanted to share you those results from previous lesson. Do a little bit of review on money making a difference. Your discussion on that was very compelling. Many of you indicated the need to spend money smartly, and I put smartly in quotes. I find that very interesting. Darlene Hammond would refer to that as spending money very strategically and very directed in a focus area. Just wanted to highlight the Abbott and Burke study that was shared in your text as well, looking at the whole school reform, professional development for teachers. Many of you talked about this. Again, I'm just doing kind of a big picture review on that particular lesson. So Darlene Hammond, which I think is a really important lesson, talks about the costs associated with ineffective teachers, which results, as you know, in high turnover and doing a short-term license and the cost associated with that, or higher teacher salaries. I think she poses a very good question in her text, and something to think about as you navigate through the profession. Little bit on student demographics. So understanding that the demographic landscape, if you will, is changing in the K-12 setting significantly. So understanding how that landscape is connected, because the student demographics are changing at a much rapider pace than the demographics of teachers. Teachers still primarily are in about the 80% white female population. And the student demographic shift is going to be over half are going to be students of color. So that there is a disconnect. So thinking about dispositions that I introduced to you earlier in the semester, the importance of dispositions as teachers and how our values and our approaches to teaching and learning really are informed by our lenses and our value sets, in turn, that impact learning. Much of this is sort of woven throughout the ideas of educational inequality, or the difference between equality and equity. Very important notion to understand the difference, and really looking at school funding, the reform efforts, and of course testing and standards that we've already taken a look at. So one of the most exciting things that I think comes out of all of this, a lot of times students tell me they read Darlene Hammond and they feel overwhelmed, or they feel depressed, or whatever the case may be. But the good news, folks, is that teachers matter. Teacher quality matters, and overwhelmingly the research continues to tell us that the single most important factor in a child's academic success is the quality of the teacher. So, and much of that quality is delineated on a national level in looking at the preparation of the teacher, but also the educational attainment. So being in graduate school, obviously, so bravo to all of you, because being in graduate school, in theory, raises the quality of your instruction. And of course, we hope sincerely that it does, but research also tells us that graduate school definitely does raise the quality of the teacher in the classroom. So we can't forget the correlation between socioeconomic status, family, and academic achievement. We also have to understand that this is, and the ethnicity, the sort of understanding the intersectionality of identity. And so we all bring a very complex identities to the teaching and learning environment. And what I mean by that is class is a part of our identity, educational status is a part of our identity, ethnicity. Those things would be considered intersections of identity. And so it's important to understand there's a correlation between those and academic achievement. So we know research continues to tell us, as cited on this slide, that students do better both academically and socially when teachers and leaders, specifically teachers and educational leaders, are caring, knowledgeable, and skilled. And that goes back again to the quality of the teacher, and research continually telling us that the quality of the teacher matters. So I'm going to shift gears here a little bit and talk a little bit about, I'm not going to read this slide, I'm just going to leave it here for you to preview. It's exactly off of your written assignment guidelines that are in the course, but to take a little closer examination of your current issue and future trend assignment coming up. And I will post the due date. It's due December 10th in the calendar. I'll be putting that in the calendar. But all of you have turned in now, or I'm pretty sure everybody has turned in their summation. I'm not looking at that particular screen right now. But the summation of your topic, so that you have something that you're passionate about and that you're going to be presenting. So basically, you're going to be doing a VoiceThread presentation. And if you follow I have the rubric here in the checklist, just follow it in order and you'll do fine. Again, the syllabus does point out anything 30 or below, I will resubmit. I'll ask you to resubmit. Couple points on this, excuse me. Apologize. Couple points on this. Don't read your slides. For those of us that are reviewing and previewing your presentation, we can read the slides. It's good to have talking points, but don't read them verbatim. Have supplemental analysis, synthesis, ideas that go around these particular areas of the significance, impact, the challenges, and the recommendations. And remember to define your audience at the beginning. I realize that's at the last part of the rubric, but it really should be part of your introduction, is defining your audience. I'm going to go back here. So it's important, don't read your slides. The syllabus and the outline says, keep it to 5 minutes. I've had some people ask if they can go over. I'll allow the 5 to 7 minute window. Anything that goes beyond 7 minutes, I will stop previewing at 7 minutes, and then that's what you will be graded on. I think it's important for you which is why I suggested to many of you to really narrow down your topic. Lots of ideas, lots of big ideas. This is a really good exercise for you as you're getting ready to move into some of your research courses, to really think about a topic and you finely tune that topic and be sort of razor focused in one area. So educational technology is a giant topic. So and I'm just using that as an example because it pops out in my head. I can't remember if anybody's doing that or not, but the point is that that's too big of a topic. So what about educational technology do you want to focus on? So those are some ideas to be thinking about. So again, I'll allow up to 7 minutes in the presentation, but not beyond that. There's 4 significant areas here. And of course, the slides should be cited accurately. Please, please, please review your APA resources. You do not need to be writing out the title of Darling Hammond's text. You simply use the author and date. If you're using a direct quote, put it in quotations and cite the page number, author, date. The resources are right there at your disposal. So at this point, there shouldn't be any real struggle or oversights within your citing using APA. If you're going to be citing research to support your topic, make sure that you cite on the slides. So as I did, I'm going to shift this up a little bit. You can see here is where I cited. So if you have any big ideas or any sources that you want to cite, make sure you put them on the slide. So I just wanted to cover that, just talk a little bit about it, and then talk about, the fact, please don't read your slides and don't go on and on and on. Practice your presentation. It's exciting. This is, I get the most feedback on this assignment being really, really relevant. All of you have picked something you're really excited about. Many of you emailed me and talked about 2 different topics. And so it's really a lot of fun. So have fun with the presentation. And for those of you that are working in groups, again, people need to have equal time presenting. So just be mindful of that as well. And don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have questions or comments as well. But it's an exciting assignment, which is much of the feedback that I've gotten from previous semesters. One of my most favorite topics to cover, and if you're not following him already on Twitter, go follow Pasi Sahlberg. He's the guru of education in Finland. We're going to be shifting as we move into our next lesson, which isn't open yet, but I just wanted to give us a little bit of kind of where we headed forward thinking. We're going to be examining global education and really drilling down into what Darling Hammond refers to as competent teaching, and then examining successful reform efforts. So I wanted to just give you a little bird's eye kind of look around the corner, where are we going? But again, I would really encourage you to follow Pasi Sahlberg if you're not following him already, as Finland is the #1 educational success model that's used internationally. And if any of you were lucky enough to hear him at Ed Minnesota a couple years back, it was a real treat to hear him talk. But I'll put that in an announcement as well. I believe I think it's at Pasi Sahlberg. I'm not quite sure off the top of my head, but I'll remind you in an announcement, as well as the due date for your assignment. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm just going to say thank you for all of your work, and please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Again, if you have any questions or you have comments or any concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. So with that, have a great, let's see, today's Tuesday. I've been on the road traveling, so I lose track of days very quickly. But anyway, have a great day, and thank you again for all of your work.